welcome back to Total Spotfest. I got to do that back. I'm pulling them back in.
Pull them back.
If you're just listening to me, I'm doing this like motion. I'm pulling you back into Total Spotfest. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening.
Bringing it back.
Bring it on back. Let's run it back.
Bring it on back, Albertville.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys giving us some of your time. We got a jam-packed show. A lot of stuff going on. We had WrestleMania. Well, we got WrestleMania build-up happening left and right. WrestleMania weekend starting to get booked. We had Royal Rumble last weekend. Dynamite. There's news out of Japan. There's news freaking everywhere. So let's dive into it. So, Jamie, how was your weekend? I know your Sunday was wonderful.
Sunday was exceptional.
Was it a little heart palpitating for you, or was it?
Yeah. I mean, did we have some calls go our way? Absolutely. In the second half, did they have calls going their way in the first half? Absolutely. It worked out in the wash. But, I mean, we've been on that side, and all I gotta say is Cincinnati, you all are just a bunch of whiners. I love you, but you all whine.
That's the Bungles for you. Apologies. No apologies, Bungle fans.
I feel bad for them.
You can feel as bad as you want for them.
I've been stung.
They are the AFC North's redheaded stepchild, and we were like, whatever, right? Bungle's got a bungle. Here's the thing I would say to any Cincinnati fans out there. Yes, I am a Steeler fan, so I have a little bit more disdain for you than, others do. But both things can be true, that there was some horribly missed calls and you made a stupid ass penalty to put them in field goal position. Those both can be true. And they both were.
And missed opportunities by both teams.
Absolutely. So Super Bowl's a live time. Fireworks were going off like crazy. It was funny. My sister doesn't watch football, but she texts me and goes, "I guess the Chiefs won. I'm hearing fireworks everywhere." Like, yep.
No, they lost. Yeah, no, it was excellent. I mean, other than obviously the Chiefs winning, it was pretty good. Setting up the poker tournament for Megan's team, so when we go to Colorado, hopefully it'll be a little bit less expensive than what I'm planning on it being. So. Really looking forward to that. So yeah.
You dropped a little dime there. We did book a Colorado trip as well.
We did. More details coming on that soon.
We don't want to dive too deep into it.
Bag.
Right. If you know us and know who we're friends with and you are on Twitter, you could maybe guess, because it was revealed on Twitter, our reasoning. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm excited. I'm ready to get. I'm ready to get into it. So I did watch the Royal Rumble this weekend. I know you didn't get a chance to watch all of it. You kind of picked and chose it a little bit.
Yeah, I was a little busy on Saturday night. I had a wedding reception for one of my best friends. So.
Well, that takes precedent for sure. But there was the Royal Rumble, which Jamie, we talked about last week, was, the introduction into our podcasting world was after the Royal Rumble 3 years ago now. So I watched it. I had like my little tablet here while I was doing other stuff on my computer, right? And interesting that they started with the Men's Rumble.
Yeah, that was the opener. That's weird.
When you think about the whole total card, it did make sense though. So
yeah.
They started the Men's Rumble. There wasn't a ton of surprises in the Men's Rumble, right? Like no big shock entrance. Booker T was the biggest surprise, and it's like, whatever. Yeah. There was one ridiculous spot, and it was a double flying nothing that looked amazing.
Double flying nothing.
Absolutely. I don't know who tweeted that, but it was like the best description ever. Ricochet on one side, and unfortunately, the man is athletic as fuck, but he's a piece of shit. Logan Paul on the other side.
Oh yeah.
Both did a giant springboard, met in the middle of the like 15 feet above the ring. It looked amazing, but yeah, it's a double flying nothing. In the end, not a surprise. Entrant number 30, Cody Rhodes, he won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Can we just talk about how you and I watch WWE sparingly? And that's being very generous.
Very.
That we watch it sparingly. We were able to get the winner of the women and the men like just barely watching the show.
We actually just our random talkings picked the whole card, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, we were 100%. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, if anything, WWE is predictable, ladies and gentlemen. I know you got those WWE stands, and I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you found mediocre storylines and top tier wrestling. Good, but you need both, in my opinion. And some of these storylines, they have some good storylines, like the final betrayal by Sami Zayn.
Finally.
You know,
but that's how they ended the show too. So that's why the men went first, right? So they ended it with Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, arguably a great match. You know,
it was
one that we have seen already, of course, right? But a very good match with the culmination of not the culmination, the kind of the turning point of the Sami Zayn storyline, right? Yes. So, you know, it's weird to me, though, because now you've got one of them's getting hosed, Cody Rhodes or Sami Zayn, because you set them both up to be the main event at WrestleMania, basically, right?
I don't think both of them are going to get hosed.
You think they're going to split the titles finally?
Yeah.
I think it's high time to do that. I think that
Cody's gonna win it for Raw. Sammy's gonna win it for SmackDown.
I think that's the best way to go about it. That crossed my mind. I hope they do it, but we'll see. Women's Raw.
They're predictable.
They're predictable. They are. Well, I will say this was not predictable. The women's Rumble match I felt was better than the men's.
Typically is. Sorry.
they had a couple like funny moments in it. Like they had Michelle McCool's music started playing. Michelle McCool was in the audience in the front, so she takes off her jacket, gives it to her kids, and jumps over and hops in the Royal Rumble.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
And lasts like 12 or 14 minutes too. So it was kind of They had Nia Jax is back. That's good fun.
Botch Jax back in action.
She came out number 30. They played her music early, but she came out number 30, and then like the entirety, all 11 women that were left, all ganged up on her to not get her out.
Perfect.
Now, the interesting part about the Women's Rumble is that the final the final three was Asuka, where we finally got the Kana, Dark Asuka. WWE's not going to go full with it, though. We know this.
They might. They're letting Bray Wyatt go. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, in a nightclub from the early '90s. Too. We'll talk about his match in a second, but so they had Dark Asuka, and it was the third. It came down to the three of them, and it was kind of a rush at the end, right? So the final two were actually the first two. Was Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And I'm not going to admit it. I knew Rhea Ripley was winning from the start. We called that weeks ago. You and I both yep, it's going to be Rhea, right?
Yeah, there's no one else.
I believe Liv was going to win there at the end. I really did. They actually got me, for what it's worth. We dog on WWE a lot. But it's not the worst thing on the planet anymore. It's really not. There's still some hook that they got every once in a while. They get you, right? Well, they got me for a minute there. I thought Liv was going to get there, but no, she didn't. And bell to bell. So either way, it would have been bell to bell, though, which is interesting because they were both 1 and 2.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. Like, Rhea Ripley looked like she got beat the hell up afterwards. The women's division's really good. So Rhea says she's gonna fight Charlotte for the belt. She's gonna get the belt off of Charlotte because Charlotte is the Brock Lesnar of the women's division right now. She's an absentee champion. So there's that. So that leaves Bianca Belair. What are they gonna do with her? Because I don't feel like the Alexa Bliss thing's done, especially with everything that happened with Bray Wyatt. And then in the post conference thing, because now WWE's doing post shows, which I wonder
that sounds familiar from,
right? Yeah. he was saying that they're always connected, and when they get back together, it'll be amazing. Like no one will see it coming, but everybody's gonna see it.
It's like the most blatantly. I mean, their match, Bianca Belair and Alexa's match, was very forgettable. But the afterwards,
Yeah,
it was
like
short, and it was
Alexa kind of looked like shit in it, and I'm like, you can't do that to Alexa.
no,
I know,
like
I know Bianca's a badass, but you can't do that to Alexa.
I mean, Alexa has had fantastic runs and can hold her own, and I don't know. Ever since she's been back this last run, ever since she got married, it feels like they're doing. I mean, they give her like no rope to they give her nothing out there, right? You know, it's just whatever. The Bray Wyatt match was weird. Okay, flat out. The pitch black match, which was all like a black light match.
Which, did you like his makeup?
I didn't mind his makeup.
The black light makeup? Dude,
I thought though it's
great.
like, you know, I thought that looked cool, but everything else, the entire ring looked like it was from a 90s dance club.
Yeah.
LA Knight, I mean everything, apparently it was horrendous to watch live, and I don't know. And it was short and it didn't really have a lot of going for it, you know.
Yeah, and then Uncle Howdy died.
Uncle Howdy showed up and they put him up on this thing and he did this giant drop from the stage apparatus, missed LA Knight by 6 feet, and then there was explosions, and I don't know. The whole thing was
weird.
I did like his makeup. I loved his entrance, as always.
Yeah. So, like, I watched some of that match. I didn't watch all of it. I watched both Rumbles, but I felt like when I watched that, like, I was just expecting, like, you know, when you watch a movie, there's always, like, a nightclub scene, to your point. There's always some catchy song in the background. So in my head, I had Blue Monday by the Orgy version of Blue Monday playing during that match. How does it feel? Treat me like you do. Like, seriously, like, I felt like that song was playing. Now, watch that match again, knowing that.
I don't think I can watch that match again because that's all that will be in my head.
You are welcome.
You planned that, and I'm not.
You will now enjoy this match.
Not going for it. So of course, yeah, Cody came out, and then you know, I want to see where they go. I hope they split the belts. Mostly for Sami's benefit, because Sami deserves the payoff, right? He was my men's wrestler of the year last year, right? For the work that he's done. And it's not just all him. I know that. But this whole storyline has been a shining beacon on what would be a very bland 3.5 year title run. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for the Bloodline, specifically this last year of the Bloodline with Sami and everything, I mean, you take a step back and think about how long they've kept Roman at the top. I mean, so I just want to see him get his cake and eat it.
Damn, Skippy, like, he's having a yes movement moment right now.
Oh yeah. And well, one thing AEW is good at, and that's cashing in on the opportune times. So they'll be able to do that. Much like TV networks are good on cashing in on, you know, hot properties that may be out there. I gotta talk about Last of Us. I know it's a wrestling podcast, but I don't care. Let's talk about Last of Us, because you didn't watch it on Sunday. I know you had stuff happening. As in your heart was still palpitating from
yeah, I developed the
AFC championship. I'm on a statin now. It's yeah. But you watched The Last of Us though, right?
Watched it Monday night.
All right, so full disclosure, if you don't want to hear about Last of Us spoilers, skip ahead about 5 minutes. Thoughts? Was this the best episode? It's definitely the best TV episode that's happened in 23. Right? That's a very short time frame. I know.
I all I gotta say is this: I've been married for 21 years, going on 22 this year. And I love my wife unconditionally. I will do anything for that woman. She is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But I don't think I can love her as hard and as well as Bill and Frank loved each other.
I mean,
Jesus.
who? What?
Strawberry scene.
I'm going a little bit reverse here, but from the post show kind of like interview, recap thing from the showrunners, they've made mention about we had discussion at the beginning when we're going to deviate and when we're not, right? And if it's going to be the same, if it'd be the same or worse, we won't deviate. But if it add to the greater overall story, we will deviate. So they definitely deviated and gave us the full. We saw Frank for 3 frames in the video games, right?
Yeah, hanging.
He got bit, he's infected, he hung himself so that he wouldn't turn, and that's all we got.
And he said he hated Bill, and
yeah.
Then also you find out later that Bill's gay because Ellie got his playgirl. Like that was it. Like that was the extent of understanding their relationship.
Yeah, we just knew Bill was a crazy prepper person that has a whole town to himself outside of Boston. That's all we knew, right?
Yep. And Lincoln.
And I liked him showing that, but I mean, stuff like this is the good stuff, And I've harked a lot about Walking Dead. That's the closest, approximation we have to The Last of Us, I feel, especially with the way that the first few seasons of Walking Dead, how good they were, right? And they had that where they deviated, and it was fantastic. And this was unbelievable. I didn't expect to cry so much so early on in this episode, but it got me, and it was beautiful, but it was great in the overall story of everything. So I loved it.
It was the deviation I never knew I wanted.
That's a great way to put it.
And then because I mean everybody knows, like, if you follow along, especially when it's like pop culture wise, I'm a very much purist. I don't like things getting messed with and redone. Like that's one of the things I hate about Star Wars also is like they kept adding layers onto the originals instead of just leaving them the way they were because they were perfect the first time through.
Jamie rarely plays like remastered or redone video games.
Yes.
Although he's going to play the new Silent Hill when it comes out. I know
like,
that.
Well, no, I did. Like, I don't mind that to some extent. Like, I played Resident Evil 2, the redo. I'm playing Final Fantasy 7. Like I've done all of those. Like I don't mind it that much when it comes to video games because there's different ways you can go. And as long as the main story arc is there, it's all good.
Sure.
Because there are some different things like Final Fantasy 7 introducing 13 way too soon, in my opinion. But whatever, because he's hard to get. But this, it gave a lot more texture to the overall story arc, and I think that's the thing. Like, because of the love and like how they went out together, and he wasn't gonna let him go and stuff like that. Like that really is a lot of foreshadowing if you've never played the games. Like, tons is heavy foreshadowing, but then it also shows a softer side there of what can happen during apocalypse, and I loved it.
Well, I think a lot of it adds. They're adding a lot to the greater story of the world of The Last of Us. That's what they did with the first couple episodes with like kind of the pre-credit scenes, right? And they had the thing in Jakarta, right? Which I appreciate that because you're not really messing with the story. You're adding to it because this is a different medium, and not everybody has gone through and platted both games, right? So you got to be able to tell that. So more to come next week. Like I said, we're us nerds. We're gonna keep talking about just a little bit. So let's flip that back. Let's talk about wrestling. So
let's talk a little wrestling.
We may mention WrestleMania, and WrestleMania weekend is starting to get booked up. So not just with WWE, because we know now Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for sure at WrestleMania. We don't know about Sami yet. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair for sure at WrestleMania, and You have everything around WrestleMania week happening too. There's the whole GCW collective. So you've got Effie's Big Gate Brunch, Joey Janela's Spring Break. You've got, Bloodsport. You've got World of Lucha. All the GCW things are happening. And my God, they've decided to just start announcing shit left and right. So, some of the things they have, I know that one of them, I think it's Joey Janela. I'm not 100% sure, but has a tag team match, and one of the tag teams is Kid Bandit and the cutest in the world, Maki Ito, together.
Maki Ito-chan
As a tag team. You got all sorts of things, but there's one name that's been booked for some GCW shows. Their first American booking that you wanted to talk about, I know.
Way to put it. I'm gonna put it with a gold star. Anybody get the reference? See what I did there?
Oh, I got the reference.
Sorry, I'm doing the Cincinnati Mayor guy. See what I did there? No. Kota Ibushi is making his GCW debut WrestleMania weekend.
Let's go.
Speaking of Kota Ibushi, he is evidently being targeted by all the major brands.
Everybody wants some Kota Ibushi.
I mean, who can blame you?
Why would you not?
And he says he likes to do more of the freelance thing and not necessarily be tied down with some contracts because he wants to rake in the dough. And I'm in. I think that's very smart.
I mean, we don't know for sure. We don't know if Kota Ibushi is moving to America and just becoming, this could all just be a tour, right? Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't he want to taste a little bit of everybody's soup, right? Sure. Do it. That's what Minoru Suzuki did. Maki Ito's been doing that. I mean, yeah. So, and anybody out there is stupid if you don't book Kota Ibushi. Like, think about the people in AEW you could have Kota Ibushi go against. He's fought half of them already, I know. But
yeah, but think about him going against MJF, going against Moxley, going against
Bryan
Page,
Danielson.
Ooh. Claudio. Like I could keep going.
Yeah,
like,
we've seen him in Omega, but I would like to see that again.
I would not complain seeing that match again. Or they become a tag team again.
Ooh.
The gold. Was it the Gold Lovers? The gold. What was it? Yeah.
That wasn't Lovers. Was it Lovers? I don't remember. Anyway, Kota Ibushi free to come to America and book himself at will. So he is doing that. So we are excited
Golden
about
Lovers. It is the Golden Lovers.
Is the Golden Lovers? That didn't sound right. I don't know why.
My Google foo came through.
Well, we will see where this takes Ibushi. I don't envision him fully signed with anybody whatsoever, but I can see him doing little short runs, PR on Impact for a couple episodes, few matches in AEW, right? He's going to do plenty of GCW. Prestige, I'm sure he'll have a match with them. PCW, I can see that, who knows where it'll take him. So it's a good time. It's a good time for independent wrestling, isn't it?
Absolutely. It is a good time. And the thing is with Kota, there were rumors that he was thinking about possibly retiring because of everything that went out with New Japan. Well, somebody else, and I know this is a shock because we just already talked a little bit of football, but somebody else retired, and Tom Brady. I don't know if you're aware. This is the second time he's done this on the exact same day. So my tie-in to this is, who are some wrestlers that you can think of that have retired and came back, and then retired again and came back.
That's unfortunately, I have to. That's not a hard list to come up with. You can just start going to it. I mean, retirement has long been a trope in wrestling, right? There's the joke that no wrestler has ever truly retired. Fuck, Ric Flair wants to do another final match after he had his final match a few months back, right? After Ric Flair's top of this list. How many times has he retired?
I think he's at a baker's dozen. I don't know.
It's up there, but he's had a bunch, should even some modern ones, Danielson fully retired, right? He's help. Edge retired, can't do it. He did it. Christian, I think, was the same way, right? He fully retired. Next pro can't do this. As recent as Christopher Daniels, right? We thought Christopher Daniels was done. Christopher Daniels has a match this Friday.
Yeah,
the main event against Roosh on Rampage.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
He booked himself in the main event.
I mean, if you can, you might as well, right? So
I mean, ain't mad at him.
I mean, there's a lot, Paige, so there's a lot currently, and I'm just trying to think back of some ones that, maybe are a little bit more seasoned in there because, like I said, they used to do this as a trope a lot, right? It'd be like the write-off. You're writing them off. Oh, he retired. And he's back. The worst one by far is The Undertaker. I don't want to know by far, but because he got done with that, whatever WrestleMania it was. Put his boots, his hat in the ring.
Oh,
he's done. And then Saudi Arabia happens, Undertaker match.
Well, I'm more pissed off about Shawn Michaels coming back for that match.
Yeah.
Shawn said he was never, ever going to wrestle again.
Yep.
And he held out for a long-ass time. He did. And then the Saudi Arabia money came. All right, who do you want me to super kick?
What about you? What else you got?
I mean, obviously Rick, Hogan. You got to talk about Hogan.
Hogan, yeah.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
I mean, other than he's a big piece of shit, we probably shouldn't.
I mean, there's other factors there for sure, but yes.
And I'm trying to think of any women that have retired and came out of retirement. Gail Kim did once.
Yeah. See, but the women do like Mickie James, like she had retired, but now she's the Impact Wrestling champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But their retirements are a little bit different,
I think wrestling retirements are just a little different.
Well, wrestling retirement is kind of an oxymoron, like we said.
Yeah, it's just, man, that's a tough one, man. Like, there's been so many wrestling retirements that aren't even real. Like Mick Foley, didn't he retire once and come back, and then now he's done.
Yeah.
Kane. I mean, it's basically like if you get the E money, you're coming back.
And Kurt Angle's retired a few times, but if need be, he'd do another match.
He would, and after that match, he'd be eating his food out of a straw.
More than likely. I mean, the true way to go. And I've heard Bully talk about this on his podcast. I've heard a few others, it's like the true way, if you're really going to leave wrestling, is to do it the proper old school way, which is you put somebody over and you're just gone, right? The actual, doing a retirement and the big, everyone comes out to the stage and claps and does all this, It's almost another gimmick. I hate to say it, but
favorite retirement moments is bullshit now. And
yes.
It's honestly the most iconic one where Ric Flair's getting up, bawling his eyes out, and then here's Shawn Michaels going, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then gave him the music.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he shows up at TNA 6 months later.
Yeah. I mean, I had tears when that happened too. I'm like, oh my God, it's done for Flair. I felt bad for Shawn. And I mean, but that's a different era of storytelling, ladies and gentlemen. But it's just one of those things, man. Like retirement is just a fickle thing. Fickle.
Fickle.
Yeah.
Fickle.
With wrestling. Like, and if you guys know of any that we're missing that people retired, came back, and retired again, came back, whatever, hit us up in the comments if you're on YouTube, or shoot us a tweet at Total Spotfest. I really appreciate it.
Hopefully, Tom Brady's retirement is done this time. He says this is final and good. Please God. Well, he's got a $300 million 10-year contract waiting for him at Fox to be a commentator.
Yeah, I know.
He'll be fine, y'all. I have Tom Brady is a fantastic quarterback statistically. I'm sure he's a fine person. Whatever.
He's the GOAT.
He just so many years destroyed my soul. 2 of his first 3 championships, Super Bowls, were, AFC championships won in Pittsburgh. And, and then it was just like the thing is like you could not get past him. I will say this though, he has never defeated Kenny Pickett. But no, best of luck in retirement, Tom. Enjoy your mountain of Fox cash.
Yeah, the mountain of Fox money. So yeah. Well, I thought that was a little fun thing to talk about. A little wrestling retirement. The second anniversary of the first time of the retirement of Tom Brady. And then the latest version of said retirement of Tom Brady.
Now, if he is truly committed to the bit, he would come out after next season and say he's coming back in. He's coming back to football. And then on February 1st, be like, "Hey guys, I'm retired again. Sorry, no, this is for real this time."
But
and then the next year, do the same thing.
He should move. He should change promotions and go to the XFL, or go to the USFL. Change promotions.
I would not. If Tom Brady wants to quarterback the Battlehawks, I'll take it. I mean, I'm not saying no to Tom Brady.
The Battlehawks is by far the best name.
Oh, it is. Their helmets are great too.
Mm-hmm. Oh. The Battlehawks. Only thing that would be cooler is if they have Battletoads.
I love it too because their like cheer thing, totally fan built, not organized by but it has to be adopted. Is Caca, and then they have guys wearing. Remember, It's Always Sunny when they were the Eagles. They wore the eagle. So you've had this group of guys who started doing it. And now it's a thing. It's a dome for Battlehawk games. That guy's shirtless wearing the Eagles shirt in the stands. I mean, say what you will about St. Louis. We know how to drink and have fun. So,
I mean, you're not wrong. It is the chlamydia capital of the world.
That doesn't happen by accident.
Way too much fun to be had in St. Louis, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. All right, let's move along here, man. Seriously, we got from Tom Brady to chlamydia, and I don't know where this fucking ship is going, but we're way off. We're off the rails.
I don't know what to do with my hands. Yeah. So, all right, you want to talk a little AEW?
Let's just go to AEW. That's a good place to go right about now.
Well, let me just say this: if you are a fan of technical wrestling, this episode was for you. 3 solid technical wrestling matches, a women's match, then a tag team match that wasn't really a tag team match. It was more about the aftermath of Daddy Ass, but it was a good show, not a great show. But they set up a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to figure out why every match next week is an eliminator match.
I don't know. Okay, what are your thoughts on the eliminator concept, first of all? For those of you who don't know, that's where you go, you fight a champion, and if you win, you then get a titles match against that champion. What are your thoughts on that in general?
I don't hate it. I kind of like it. Like, in order to be the man, you have to beat the man.
Okay.
And so if you beat the man, you get a shot at his ship or at her ship.
Here's my take on it. If AEW took the approach to eliminator matches that they did to steel cages, they would actually mean something.
That's fair. I mean,
You say yourself, there's 2 next week. There was one last Friday on fucking Rampage, which was a fantastic match with Emi Sakura, by the way. Emi Sakura and Jamie Hayter.
I do want to talk about that match.
Okay.
Because
but
holy shit.
Just throwing these eliminator matches out there all the time, and it's just like the champion could just have a match against somebody. And if they happen to lose, it's not a title match. Well, that person obviously isn't. And you don't need to have anyway. I don't like the gimmick because of the overuse of it. The thought behind it. You want a shot, you have to beat me. Then I'll give you a shot. That should be like a special stipulation.
Yeah, I agree. AEW passes out the eliminator thing like it's candy. You know, whereas WWE doesn't use it very often, so it actually carries weight better in WWE.
Yeah.
But WWE uses a cage match like they're handing out like candy, and AEW doesn't use a cage match, so the cage match is very special for them. And like, if you could find a happy medium between both, I think it would be very successful. I like the gimmick. I agree with you. It's way overused in AEW because like everything is an eliminator. You know, like remember the women's tournament that had the Tokyo Joshi Pro?
Yeah.
That's where we're getting introduced to Maki. It was literally like the women's eliminator single elimination
worldwide
eliminator tournament. Like it was the longest name. I think it said eliminator 3 times.
It was so bad.
Like we get you. You know, and the winner of that, Ryu Mizunami, is not even in AEW right now. Anyway, so this week's show, again, amazing technical wrestling. The women's match was god awful. I'm sorry.
God.
I'm not here to say Red Velvet is a top tier wrestler because she's not. She's still green, and you had her going against yet another green wrestler in Jade Cargill. For Jade Cargill, go 15-0, ladies and gentlemen. I like Jade. I like her presentation. I like the things about her other than her in-ring ability, and especially if she's going against somebody who's not a veteran. If she's going against a veteran, she has good matches because they carry her.
Absolutely.
If she's going against green as her, it is god-awful.
2 things I want to say about Jade Cargill.
Okay.
Echo everything you said. Add to that the fact that, like we've talked about, you and I have beaten this. We have worn down the head of this nail, beating it into a board. Who's lining up? So you had Kiera Hogan, a former baddie, come out. You know, so you've got this ex-baddie association, and you know Layla Gray, who is a baddie, but they've whatever. Yeah, none of these women in and around the sphere of Jade Cargill are believable to beat her with the way that she's been positioned, okay? Kiera Hogan shouldn't be. Kiera Hogan's a fantastic wrestler who is getting a chance to shine a little bit. But once again, do you believe Red Velvet would beat Jade Cargill? Do you believe Kiera Hogan can beat Jade Cargill? If Layla Gray, when Layla Gray breaks off, can she beat Jade Cargill?
Maybe.
Not the way they positioned her.
Nope.
So
it has to be somebody from the outside.
You've got no plan for anything, no plan to take the belt off a black female Goldberg, okay? Mm-hmm. Which leads me to my second point. I'm starting to get the way they're packaging her and presenting her, you know, this and that is getting even more confusing, right? Because there is nobody that could challenge her. There's nobody in the line to challenge her. She just is a champion. She's never been anything but, right? You know, she's the only TBS champion there is. She walks off after a big match carrying her daughter, right? Which doesn't fit her character at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a great thing to do, but you've developed her to be this like super, you know, profane, tougher than thou, baddest bitch on the block, right? Mm-hmm. / loving mother. What?
I mean, you could do both. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
I just don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. I don't feel like there's no end game here. And I don't feel there's a long-term plan. They're just spinning their wheels. Like,
so let me build off that, because I agree to a point. So the TBS and TNT championships both collectively truly don't have plans.
yeah.
Like, the difference between the two is the TNT just gets handed off every so often with a retread of the exact same feud. Like, oh, this guy got it. Oh, he's gonna have it for a little bit, then they're gonna feud again, and then he's gonna lose it to the person that he wanted off of. They continually do that, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous on that one. There's no true plan there. And one of the TNT champions who we talked about a lot was booked into a corner who had to win the title, who happened to show up tonight. And we'll talk about that in a second. But they're doing the same thing with Jade. They have booked her into a corner.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, they need to build bench strength to have somebody challenge her, and they haven't, because they're working so hard on the E-girls and all of them. Now, if one of the E-girls challenged her,
Ruby Soho. Hey, Ruby.
which, there's some issue there because the E-girls attacked Britt Baker DMD, and then obviously Ruby came to check on
which
Britt
I did
afterwards.
like. We'll talk about that in a moment here. Yeah, we're going to continue with the women for a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, but so, like, that's the only way. Legit. I think that's the only way right now they get that belt off of her, unless it's Monet Banks. Like, that is it. It has to be somebody from the outside who no one knows about, who's a big person just out of nowhere.
And that almost feels like the play to go with this, even though booking wise, you think she fits into the big picture with the E-girls and all that more. In a way, it almost makes more sense for her to go up against Jade because of the way that Jade has been positioned, right?
Yeah.
There's a hip hop tie-in there as well with that, because Bow Wow's long.
What happened to the Bow Wow thing?
That just kind of just disappeared into thin air.
Yeah, it was really weird. The Bow Wow thing.
Weird. It was weird. Bow Wow just trying to hit up. Hey, what's up? And,
yeah.
So let's talk about the other side of the women's picture, okay? Because to your mention, during an interview for a preparation for another eliminator next week, the women's eliminator, the second one that Jamie's been in 10 days against the Bunny, there was something coming through on Renee's earpiece, and we go to the video, and Britt's getting the shit kicked out of her by Saraya and Tony. Okay, later on, in with Doc Samson, and here is Renee. Hey, checking on you. How you doing? Right? the very wrestling thing. You're in a very you just got the shit kicked out of you. You're seeing a doctor, but please talk to me and tell me how you feel. And here comes Ruby sliding in and trying to check, make sure you're good. And Britt does the whole like trying to play it off. Like, you're one of them, right? Where did you stand? What are your thoughts? I know that you kind of dismissed the idea about Ruby being with the E-girls when I made mention of it last week, but what are your thoughts with how she fits in the picture and where this storyline is going?
I'm more convinced that she's not going to go with the E-girls. Hikaru Shida is.
I think that makes more sense. Yes.
I'm 100% zeroed in on that's the play.
I mean, after tonight,
shadow of a doubt.
After tonight, I'm less convinced. I mean, she's obviously in this picture now, which is good for me. Good for her because she gets good for her because she gets story back in like this main sort of storyline, right? And everything.
Mm-hmm.
Bad for the whole Jade thing, unless they said they do Mercedes Monet, whatever. But I think I agree with you. I think that there's definitely some big suspenseful swerves that they're trying to set up with that is what it feels like.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's the way they're going. So, yeah, that's the women's division of AEW right now.
You could have 2 matches, Tony. You could just done 2 matches, and we would have been even.
You
more
know what?
happy.
I am going to give him credit for another match that did happen on Rampage.
Yeah,
And that was Jamie Hayter versus Emi Sakura, who came out with Mei Saruga and by Bow whatever. They're a tag team. It's just more Mei Saruga.
More Mei Saruga.
My God, that match was amazing.
I didn't see that coming, man. I did not see that match coming.
So here's the thing. Emmy puts on good matches.
She
always.
does.
Because she is a trainer. She is a long in the tooth veteran who can still flat out go. And Jamie's at the top of her game.
No doubt.
And those two put on one for the books. Holy shit, was that thing amazing. Like, hard hitting, the back and forth. Emmy looked so strong. Oh. Jamie looked strong. Like, it was a win-win situation for both women. It was crazy, like, how good this match truly was.
It's one of those matches that you thought, oh, that'd be cool to see, and then you see it, and you're like, wow, I didn't have any idea it was going to be that good, right? You know?
Yeah, and it was on Rampage.
Yeah, I remember like thinking about that when Allie Katch and Ruby Soho at the Hammerstein Ballroom at GCW. Like, that was gonna be a cool match to watch. And my God, that was damn near my match of the night. Well, not quite. There was some ridiculousness in that show, but specifically 6-person lucha craziness. But it ends up being that it's like the stars align. 2 people seem to just make a match that's magic, and
so
who knew?
I'll put it this way. With the lineup of technical wrestling that happened on Dynamite, if this was the match that was on Dynamite, I would call this my match of the night without hesitation. It was that damn good.
It was. It was one of the best matches that have been happening on Rampage in a while.
Yeah. Excellent match. Excellent freaking match. So let's talk about one that was maybe not so excellent. And I mean, I'm going to catch flack for this, and you might give me some flack too. We got a typical Darby Allin match, didn't we?
We did. Now, it was violent and bloody, and Joe was in the best form of Joe. So I did like a lot of this. I did
like that too. Yeah.
But yes, it was Darby getting the shit kicked out of him for 90% of the time.
Yep. Back to what Darby does best. Just getting the shit kicked out of him. He loses his belt to a guy who he won the belt off of. Like, amazing how this works out for the TNT title every time.
I know.
And then fun fact, as soon as Joe won it, guess who comes out? The guy who he won it off of originally comes out. Yes, War Daddy is back, ladies and gentlemen. Heather, I bet you're really excited about War Daddy being back. He's back.
Give us your thoughts on the War Daddy short dude. What do you think, Heather?
Love it. I mean, I never liked his little man bunny thing.
The man bun sucked. Sorry, y'all.
Hey, whatevs. You know what? He looks good. I mean, he's more shredded Julian Sao, man. But he's excellent. And yes, we are getting this Evolution TNT title. Or Revolution, not Evolution. Revolution.
That's going to be the 2 of them, and yes, we know. And Wardlow's probably going to win it, and then just give us Miro, please. Give us Miro in the TNT picture. If you're going to give it back to an old champion, give it back to Miro. Then we could have Miro and Malachi feud for it the way it should be. That's what should fucking happen.
Yes. Or have Miro take off the Continental Championship off of Orange Cassidy.
Oh, the All-Atlantic?
Yeah. The most meaningless of the titles. That's in a JanSport backpack at all times.
I love the follow through.
I love that though. I
love the follow through a character with that. I did like a lot of the spots in this match though, obviously, because I'm a spot monkey. And the fact that he won it. So Darby had pulled off the padding and pulled back the canvas and Joe, being Joe, used the ref to kind of bump the ropes, knock Darby down, and do a top rope muscle buster onto the boards for the victory.
It was kind of insane. Yeah. The finish was great. Like the match. Okay,
It
so
was
like
fine.
yeah,
It was-
both of them were bloody. It was fun to watch from that point because you did get the visceral Joe, and that's probably my favorite Joe.
Oh yeah,
But again, like 90% Darby
Darby get the
Allin
shit
is
kicked out
doing
of him.
Darby. Yeah, like we're back to Darby. So had a weak ass promo from Jack Perry. Like they need to send him to promo school. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I'm gonna be a champion. I was already a tag team champion. Been there, done that, and I've been to the tippy top, and I've been to the bottom. And it's like, okay, dude, you're weak.
There
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
really a promo that was worth even talking about for the whole night. The Elite promo was weird. The Jericho Appreciation Society, yeah, they're putting Ricky through a gauntlet now. Okay.
Oh, hey, pulling the MJF card.
Oh, never seen that before.
Yeah, the trials of Jericho.
Really, the women's was the only one. It's just the women's kind of thing that they did with Britt. So go figure, right? Britt Baker turns out to be good.
Before we get into the technical matches, do you want to talk about that tag team match?
There was a tag team match. Okay, let's talk about
not really a tag team match. It was more about the after. Like the Acclaim came out. Max did not exactly do his best rap, because it was going against Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum.
I do love the names.
Which the names are amazing.
I do love the names.
But,
especially Truth Magnum. That is fan. What? That's fan.
Turbo Floyd's a great name.
Truth Magnum.
Yeah. It sounds like an 80s porn star.
If they were really smart, they'd both be Magnums. They'd be Turbo and Truth Magnum.
The Magnums.
Turbo Magnum, Truth Magnum. More Magnums.
Yeah. So the Acclaim win, obviously, it was a squash match. It was really easy.
Total squash.
Then the Ass Boys come out. They confront. They want a title shot, and then here like the Acclaim's like, let's leave it up to the fans. What do they say? Oh, they say no, so no. And then here's Daddy Ass getting all sorts of pissed about it. Starts walking off, and then Colton and his brother just go straight for the jugular. Yeah, just walk out on us like you did when we were kids. You should go bury yourself in a bottle of pills. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Up until that line, I was just sort of like, okay, this is, it's the same thing I did last week. Bury yourself in a bottle of pills. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. That felt real. So we are going to get a title match next week. No eliminator for this one, ladies and gentlemen. A real title match. Ass Boys versus the Acclaimed. Okay, so which of the technical matches would you like to start with?
Let's start with the one I think we can get through. Well, the one that we can talk about the quickest, because we've seen it twice already. It was the opener.
Hanger and Mox?
That's my only real complaint about that match. But Hanger and Moxley 3.
And it's not done. That's the thing about it, too.
Yeah. So the match was just as good as the other two. Well, the first one was
yeah,
because the first one ended abruptly with a concussion. But it was great. It was fun. It was Hanger and Mox. They beat the shit out of each other before the match started. Then they got in there and they did more beating the shit out of each other. It was good. And then it was over. But it's not over. Moxley won, but he wasn't happy with winning.
Yeah. And then Hanger wasn't happy either. Like, it was just weird. The ending was just odd.
It's like, so are you continuing this? Because this is supposed to be the rubber match, right? But no. And they had
Why do I feel like Hanger and Mox are going to become a tag team?
Because this is what has happened so many times in wrestling history, right? Two guys who hate each other end up becoming tag team. Look at Claudio's in the fucking ring, and we had Claudio and Sheamus go through a surprise best of, I think it was 9 match to become the Bar. And they were a great tag team together, and they won the title multiple times. I agree. I'm with you. I think this might be the thing that happens.
Hold on. I got this idea.
Oh, son of a bitch. He's back.
I got this idea.
I thought we
These two guys, they hate each other. All right? This is what we're going to do. They are going to fight, and then we're going to make them come together and be a tag team and be the greatest tag team of all time. Well, you know what we're going to call them? The Mega Powers.
You're going to make them do what? You're going to make them
come together and form a tag team and call them the Mega Powers.
All right. Get the fuck out of here, Bruce. Bye-bye. Thought we were
Been a
rid of
minute.
you, son of a bitch.
Hey, you're the one who started it. Like, I wasn't gonna go there. You're like, oh, we've seen it 100 times. Like, oh shit, it's the Mega Powers. We're going
Well,
the
but
Mega Powers.
to your point, why do you think you're going to see it happen? Because we've seen it happen a million times. So
That's true. I mean, if one thing, wrestling is predictable.
and it'll probably be a fantastic tag team because it's Hanger and Mox together. Sure.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Which one do you want to save? Let's go with that.
Okay.
You want to save Danielson?
Yes.
Okay, I figured
Yes.
so. We got the joy of
ending with
seeing
this.
Konosuke Takeshita multiple times tonight too on TV, but in a match specifically. And Brian Cage 2 weeks in a row on your TV on Dynamite. How about that?
But hey, what else? This match I thoroughly enjoyed because again,
I really like this match.
You got to see athletic Brian Cage. You got to see athletic Brian Cage in this one a lot more than you got to see athletic Brian Cage against Bryan Danielson. Because
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, like Konosuke is not a small dude.
No.
Like they were eye to eye. This match, hard hitting, technically beautiful, Japanese strong style.
Mm-hmm.
Chef's kiss.
What do you think of Takeshita's finisher, the knee?
It's very Japanese.
I really like it. I
love it though.
I feel a lot of people might. My worry is that you're going to say what I feel a lot of people will say about it and have already kind of said, how it's just a strike. It's not a finisher. It's weak, right?
That's the King Sasha. It's the same thing. It's just a strike.
It's done in a different way, you know.
Yeah, it's with a knee, not the foot.
I love it. I love it because it's something also you can pull out of nowhere, right?
I'm a big fan of the quick finishers too.
Right. So and
Stunner, rock bottom.
But he doesn't have to do that either, too, for the finisher. But I really like the knee as the finisher. That's my argument.
No, I enjoyed it, but yes, like it's that Japanese strong style where they use a strike as a finisher more times than not.
Yep.
Like Muda used to do the thumb, pow. Well, like
Solo.
Sika
Solo uses the thumb. Yeah, which is I love that.
Thumb strike. Yeah.
But a lot of times, because excuse me, a lot of times in America, those moves tend to become setup moves. I think of Joe's Uranagi, which is by far my favorite Uranagi there's ever been, right? But in the corner Uranagi where he pops them up and bam. And the one he did tonight on Darby was gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
But stuff like that tends to be tends to be relegated to a setup move. So I just want to get your thoughts on them. I like him using it as a finisher.
No, I'm right there with you. I think it's a solid finisher. Like just like I was saying, like Nakamura uses the Kinshasa, which is a strike finisher. Yep. I mean, hell, a Shining Wizard is a strike finisher, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, hell, the buckshot lariat is a strike finisher.
Yeah. The elbow strike by Osprey, the blade or whatever he calls it. I can't think of what he calls it. That's the strike. Like people are like, bro, y'all need to calm down because it happens more times than you think.
Right.
You are just not.
Maybe if it was just packaged a little differently, that's maybe.
I agree.
But then again, Takeshita's, while he's not a rookie, he's young. He's still young.
So speaking of Takeshita, we love to wax poetically about this guy. This again shows me he's got the goods. He's also now involved with the world champion, and he's got an eliminator match next week against MJF.
I like this eliminator though.
I do too.
Because they've built this up for weeks, so now it makes. This is the time when you do an eliminator and do it right. I'm sorry, I'm off this hill. Let's move on.
Yeah, but so this is going to be 4 consecutive weeks he's been on Dynamite.
Yes.
Like
Tony said when he signed him, when he's official and he's here, he's moved here. He's like, he's going to get a big push. You guys are going to see. No shit, he's gotten it.
So, he's in the main event right now. And I don't know if he's necessarily ready for the main event yet, to be perfectly frank. I think he is title worthy of a run at one. I don't think it's the AEW World Championship.
In a perfect world, this would be the time to put the secondary title on him. I say in a perfect world because, well,
the Intercontinental thingy. All Atlantic.
All Atlantic. You keep saying Intercontinental.
Yeah,
it's close. No. I would say that in a perfect world, the TNT is what I would put on him. But you just talked about the way that they treat the TNT title, right?
It's War Daddies. Yeah.
It's almost siloed into a very specific group of individuals, right? So
it's the 24-hour championship.
I don't mind quick title changes either, to be honest.
But not to the same people over and over again.
Open like remember when they had the hardcore title back in the Attitude Era, great. And that one. For those of you who aren't familiar with the old school WWF and the hardcore title, the hardcore title was the original Winged Eagle belt that had gotten destroyed and beaten up and was thrown away. So somebody, I don't remember the whole lore behind it, but somebody took it out, wrapped a bunch of duct tape around it, and wrote the word hardcore on it. It became the hardcore title, right? And the thing is that it could be defended at any time 24/7, right? Before the 24/7 title. And I remember this one episode of Raw, it changed hands 16 times. Something stupid like that. But
the pay-per-view, I think it changed hands at 11 times at WrestleMania. Like at one WrestleMania. I do remember that.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. It was, but no. Yeah. I think that the All Atlantic title probably makes more sense for him.
Just think about him going against Orange Cassidy. Think about that match right there.
I'm for it, and it seems like Orange Cassidy seems to be putting this up against a lot of people that are kind of along the same career path level wise that Takeshita is, right? You know. So
I think that makes a lot of sense, and his finisher is a strike as well. I really just want to troll the people who don't think a strike can be a finisher.
So I think that
you've never been knocked the fuck out. That's what this is.
You don't know. You just don't know. So anyway,
they can finish you.
All right, that leaves one match, which I knew something was just seeding in me that this is going to be the one that Jamie is going to want to get into, because we had a week respite, and then we had Bryan Danielson back to his old tricks of let's just do some technical fucking wizardry on TV. Go.
If I could use one word to explain this match, perfect.
That's a bold word there, Cotton.
Timothy Thatcher, who was great in NXT, by the way.
Underrated as hell, yes.
Now in Noah, and Bryan Danielson are cut from the exact same cloth.
Yep.
You had the British strong style going up against an American strong style, and the submissions,
woo,
the uppercuts, the knees, everything. The placement of things was perfect. Was this a 5-star match? Maybe not.
No.
But what I mean by perfect is the pacing was amazing. The storytelling was amazing. The strikes, the submissions, everything was on point. It could have been longer. I think if it was longer, it could have got a 5-star. But that's personally, that's my opinion. I'm going to watch this match one more time. But the stiffness of kicks, there's a lot of just great things. Like going into the bow stretch, like he hasn't busted out the bow stretch in a long time. Like there's all sorts of things.
I like the matching thoughtfulness, because you see this from Danielson on a bunch of people, right? But for example, they started off at the beginning of. I don't remember what the hold was specifically, but Danielson had him in a submission hold of sorts, and he reversed it. Okay, he reversed it by grabbing the finger and pulling it back, right?
Like you could hear him yelling. Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Oh.
The sound was great, but that just set the tone for the match because you see Danielson do that sort of stuff all the time, but now to have it happen on both sides of this fence added this complexity to it. So where do you rank this? Okay, so 5-star or not? For what's worth, I don't think it was a 5-star match.
No.
I think it was a high 4. You know, it was a solid 4.5. I would say solid 4.5.
I agree with that.
I think that all of the 3 of them that he's done here have all been solid 4.5s. So where'd you put this? Takeshita, Thatcher, Bandito. Where would you rank these 3?
Takeshita 1.
Okay.
Without hesitation. This 2.
Okay.
And then Bandito 3.
So you put this above Bandito. Okay.
Absolutely. Bandito's was a different style match, yes. But this one, like, again, to your point, when he put him in that bow and arrow stretch, and then he got out of it by using the joint manipulation, had, just had Pete Dunne vibes, hardcore. Because
that's that British side to it,
Yeah,
the joint manipulation.
I mean, the only thing for me that lowered it down was the MJF piece.
The run
he wasn't involved in the Takeshita or the Bandito. Like, he started getting involved last week with Brian Cage. So that's the only piece is the knock, but the actual wrestling itself was perfect.
He didn't really get involved in the match too much because Takeshita came out to make the save, which of course prompts the match for next week. But I didn't mind it in this match either because the overall story arc with them and the way they're building up this isn't a gauntlet, to be fair, of all like the previous MJF like hurdles to jump through to get to me sort of thing. This is the most legitimate of them because it's like, you got to be number 1 contender, in order to do that, you have to wrestle every single week against people, right? So, but you see him each week realize he's getting closer and closer. He's getting more and more desperate. That's why I didn't mind the run out this week because it's that next progression, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it took away from the match.
No, I just think that could have been if this match was 5 minutes longer and it didn't have that aspect in it whatsoever, okay. 5-star. Yep. It needed 5 more minutes.
It also would have probably pay-per-view quality. So
at that point, yeah, exactly.
At that point. Cool beans. Well, next week we got Roosh versus Bryan Danielson. Roosh is getting boatloads of money from like briefcases full of money now.
Yes. So dumb.
But several eliminators and all that stuff. It'd be interesting to see where we go. I don't know. The whole thing is like, it feels like they're setting up for the Acclaim to drop the belts. I don't feel like that's right.
I don't think so either, especially to the Ass Boys.
I don't know though. It just feels like.
Well, something. With FTR out of the picture, and the Elite doing their thing, it is just the Ass Boys. That's the only other tag team right now that's getting built up.
Private Parties not fully healthy. Top Flight's there, right? I'm trying to think of the. You gonna do Kings of the Black Throne? I mean,
oh yes, give me, oh yes, Brody King and Malachi.
I would love that, but they have done nothing to insert them into this title picture, and
they've had a couple tag team matches on Dark,
but not nothing to insert them into like the Acclaim storyline.
They can easily get inserted next week.
I think that you can move to your point, I feel like you can move the House of Black pretty easily and quickly into any storyline. I am also biased towards the House of Black.
Same.
So
100% same.
I would love to see that happen. So let's see where they go. So next week's AEW should be a good one.
Yeah.
We are less than a month out. So we
almost a month out today.
Just about a month out, pretty close to it. This means next time that this belt is defended is going to be in about a month. Ooh, or this belt right here. Look at this beauty. Look at this beautiful thing.
For life, we're getting it back.
Staying in the club. So That's what we got, guys. So, do you have anything else, though?
No. But go rewatch the Bray Wyatt match with Blue Monday by Orange
don't do
playing
it.
in the background.
Don't do it, y'all. Don't do it, y'all. Even if
Then
you watch
give
like the
me
clips
your
of it, it'll stick in your. It'll get imprinted. I know. I do this. I love planting the earworms. This is how it works, though. Don't even watch like a Twitter video of it. It'll get stuck, or do. Either way. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Keep a lookout. We got some stuff we got coming up here. We'll make some announcements and things like that. So keep an eye on our Twitter. Also, as always, join the conversation. Give us a comment down below. Tell us what you thought. Tell us where you think they're going with these different title pictures, especially the women. Okay, is there any course of action to ever get the belt off of Jade Cargill other than Mercedes Moné? I'd love to hear a plan. Somebody fancy book that for me. Somebody.
Mark Stradamus is out of ideas, if that gives you any idea.
Who knows? So give us comments. But no, we will be back next week. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you giving us some of your time. Jamie, take us home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 9 words for you.
What the shit are you? Okay.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
2 more weeks and we're done with the season. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.